And we are 4 days out from the start of the Alec Murdaugh murder trial. The focus is on whether or not a key piece of evidence will be allowed in court.
The prosecution says that they have Alec Murdaugh's bloodstained shirt, which they argue puts the disgraced attorney at the scene of the crime. The defense says there isn't any blood on it. Fox News' Bryce Runkle tells us why a debate like this isn't unusual.
If you've watched a crime show, there's a good chance you've heard an actor playing a forensic scientist showing that stain means this person used that gun to commit the murder, and they say it with no uncertainties. In the real world, and especially with blood stain analysis, the experts say it's not that simple.
661 projected, 0.3, go.
The research on blood spatter analysis is not terribly old. It's still sort of evolving. There's still a lot of research going on with that.
Brian Cranny is the director of Greenville Technical College's Criminal Justice Program.
We will have different people with different opinions on that.
Why? Cranny says when analyzing blood stains, there are an unlimited number of variables to take into account. Anything from weather to how hydrated a victim is can impact what spatter will look like.
The more variables you have, the less reliable your outcome is because we don't know what all the variables were.
A 2021 study asked 75 analysts to look at almost 200 bloodstain samples, both from controlled settings and actual crime scenes. They found 11% of the analysts' responses were wrong, and about 7% of the responses directly contradicted another analyst.
There are several problems that show up in bloodstain pattern analysis.
Statistician Hal Stern teaches at the University of California, Irvine. He also works with the Center for Statistics and Applications in Forensic Evidence.
It's been a field that worked in definites. I think we need to be aware of the possibility of error.
Instead of presenting evidence in absolutes, Stern says it's more accurate to look at probabilities. So instead of asking, did this bullet cause this spatter, asking,
how likely is it that I would see this pattern if that was the mechanism?
His team is running tests to see how and if their method could be applied to real cases. In the meantime, he says it's important that expert witnesses reframe their testimonies.
It is possible for experts to draw conclusions, but that the error rate is likely higher than we may have understood before.
The science underlying is very reliable. The interpretation of the results is not.
We asked Stern what he thinks people should keep in mind as they watch the Murdaugh trial, and he says listen for the experts who consider and weigh multiple explanations. He says they are the most reliable. Grace Runkle, Fox Carolina News.